La Belle, Lady Marmalade on BBC Radio Oxford. Here we are then, Friday morning. The start of the bank holiday weekend not far away. And because it's Friday, of course, there are a load of brand new movies that come out today, and that is why our movie critic Van Connor comes on to chat to me about some of those new movies that he gets to see in the week, you know, all the red carpet stuff that he goes to. So good afternoon, nearly. Well, it's morning, technically, and welcome back to the show, Van. How are you?
Oh, it's a pleasure, Mr. Boyd. Good groove to start the day with, I think, that.
Absolutely agree with that. And has it been a good week for movies, would you say, or a bit of a quiet one?
But you know, it's not bad. We've got half terms kind of starting today. Is it half term between terms? School holidays. So, of course, you know, there's like big movies out. You've got a 3-day weekend. Big movies kind of goes hand in hand. So if the weather does turn, at least we've got a couple heavy hitters that you can go and enjoy with the fam or with the friends or on a date. There's something for everyone, I think.
Well, exactly. And talking of sort of a family movie, let's talk about Garfield first of all then. I mean, this has got one hell of a voice cast.
It really has, hasn't it? I mean, you and I obviously grew up in the era of Garfield being stuck by suction cups to every car window that passed us. You remember those days?
Yeah, I do.
Well, now it's time for Garfield for the next generation. It's literally been about 2 decades since the last attempt to bring Garfield to the big screen with Bill Murray. This time around, Garfield is Chris Pratt, and he's fully animated. The whole movie's animated. You get the origin story of Garfield, you know, how John found him as a sort of abandoned kitten, met him in an Italian restaurant, discovered that he could eat more or less anything. And this is, you know, we now flash forward to grown-up Garfield, as we've sort of always known him, the slacker Garfield, who really just wants to kick back and laze all day and eat lasagnas.
A bit like us.
Now been modified. Yeah, a bit like you and I. Yeah, exactly like you and I. Even down to the lazy boy recliner and the ordering food by app. Exactly like that, yeah. He is abducted one day in the middle of the night by an evil kitten named Jinx, voiced by Ted Lasso's Hannah Waddingham, and her henchman Bowen Yang, and of course Ted Lasso alum as well, Brett Goldstein, Roy Kent himself, as a lure for his estranged father Vic, who of course reappears. He's voiced by Samuel L. Jackson of all people, and it transpires that years previous Vic had screwed Jinx out of a heist that they were trying to do, where he was going to steal a large amount of milk from a local dairy, and Garfield is now the bait to get him and Garfield and Odie to go on this heist for her. So it's not Mission Impossible, it's Kitten Impossible, if you know what I mean. So they're off on a heist. I got a clip for you. This is just tone setting, really, to give you a little sample of how Garfield's living his life with his dad back in the picture.
I think this is a case of mistaken identity. You must be looking for another gorgeous, lovable kitty cat. Big bag hunter with the... She got a big bed, drop it. Come on, Junior. You. Huh? This is Vic, my father.
Welcome back, Victor.
Listen, I need your help.
Get them!
I haven't seen you for years, and when I do, you're on the run from a deranged cat. We need to toughen you up. Hey, I know tough, Vic. You've obviously never been in an Olive Garden that's run out of breadsticks.
It does sound like they've done a really good job of this, and I'm loving the fact that Snoop Dogg is voicing in this. He's not in a big part, though, is he?
Well, no, and he's Snoop Cat in this one. He's a full-blown kitten version of Snoop Dogg in every possible... My favourite bit of the movie, hands down, my favourite movie is Snoop Cat. Big fan of this at times. I mean, it's a pretty average movie. It's like a 3-star film. But the laughs that do land very hard. I mean, I still can't quite wrap my head around why you chuck money at a half-asleep Chris Pratt when John Mulaney exists. I mean... Really? Like, John Mulaney, easiest bit of casting for Garfield ever. Also, a third attempt to adapt John Arbuckle for screens, and nobody thought to go and get Steve Buscemi. Come on, people, I can't do all the work for you. But you know what? The kids loved it. We had, you know, decent fun, a couple of laughs here and there. If you're a fan of the Secret Life of Pets series, or more importantly, your kids are big fans of the Secret Life of Pets series, you're on very similar ground here. Also, just Brett Goldstein, Roy Kent as a villainous henchman. It works. It really works. The guy steals the show for me. Like I say, between him and Snoop Cat, bags of fun for the family, really. It's a great one to bring out for half term.
Yeah, strategically placed for release today. Garfield movie is showing at the Odeon, Oxford, George Street, Curzon, Oxford in the Westgate, Cineworld Cinema, Witney and Didcot, and also the Light in Banbury. And it starts from today if you want to go and see it. Right, what are we looking at next then? It's the big one.
Yeah, I guess we're going back to the Fury Road.
Yes.
So Furiosa, which is not so much just a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, it's a full-blown epic origin story about this character. We get most of her life pre-meeting Mad Max. So she was played by Charlize Theron in Mad Max Fury Road in 2015. Here in her younger incarnation, she's played by several actresses, but most notably Anya Taylor-Joy as the sort of 20-something incarnation of her as she becomes the Imperator for Immortan Joe that we know she's going to be, down the way. So it's the story of Furiosa, how she was abducted as a child, how her mother set out to rescue her, how she wound up in one place and had to get to another. And of course, we know that this road has to lead to the iconic Immortan Joe. So it's a return to the Mad Max universe. And more importantly, it's a return from director George Miller as well. So I've got a clip for you. This is the only actual clip they've released. Annoyingly, it's from quite late in the film. So it's kind of spoilerific, but this is their clip, annoyingly, and it's a good one. So I'll give you Furiosa, let's just say, giving a man his end.
Remember me?
You fabulous thing. You crawled out of a pitiless grave deeper than hell. Only one thing's gonna do that for you. Not hope. Hate. No shame in hate. It's one of the great forces of nature. That wasn't hope, that was instinct.
I mean, I'm excited to see this. I've seen the trailer for it, and I mean, the cinematography looks incredible in this as well as all the vehicles that they've got, and it's just brilliant.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we are very much back on Fury Road 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's as big a deal as Fury Road was because we didn't expect Fury Road to be like, no one thought Mad Max 4, that's going to be high art, isn't it? Nobody thought that, and then it was. So here we have technically Mad Max 5, I guess, and we're now expecting that, and we get it. So it's broken up into chapters. It's a proper, Homerian Odyssey type thing. It's a proper Aesop's Fables type structure. Visually, as you say, it's like nothing. I mean, nobody does this stuff like George Miller.
No.
Anya Taylor-Joy makes an impression, as do the rest of the cast. I particularly like Chris Hemsworth as the villain of this. As you can hear him in the clip, he's having fun. And, Chris Hemsworth is at his best when he's enjoying himself, which he's very, very much doing here. It's big, it's bombastic. If you see this in an IMAX screen, you've got the full-blown sound system going. Every exhaust rattle, every engine rev just trembles through you. It's a ride. It's as much an experience and a ride as it is a film. And as a film, it very much is leaning into that Fury Road aesthetic of, do you know what? We're going for high art here, people. No, this is not a disposable car chase movie. No, this is art. Big fan. If I have a complaint about it, it's maybe that they slightly cheapen. I mean, he's not really in the movie as such, but it does sort of cheapen the inevitable relationship that Charlize Theron is going to have with Tom Hardy's Mad Max in the next one, because it just becomes a little bit less special. But it makes sense when you've seen it, and incidentally, it's worth noting that over the end credits, they actually do play like a sizzle reel of Mad Max Fury Road. So you literally leave the cinema wanting to go immediately home and watch Fury Road.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think that's a pretty good result. If it leaves you wanting more, and you've already got the more, and you can just go and because most of us haven't seen Fury Road since it came out like 9 years ago. That's a good result. Fury Road's one of the best action movies of the 2010s. I think this stands a chance of being one of the definitive action movies of the 2020s as well.
For anyone who hasn't seen any of the other Mad Max releases, though, would this work as a standalone movie? Just an action-packed, beautiful movie to watch?
Absolutely does just play as this wonderful self-contained, like I say, like a proper Homer's Odyssey type thing, but like a post-apocalyptic wasteland thing. They do give you you get the same intro that you got from Fury Road, where they explain how the world ended, and then you are just thrust into this post-apocalyptic wasteland and this really engrossing story of this young girl who becomes this incredibly impactful and important young woman.
So if you want to go and watch it, you can. It is showing at Odeon, Oxford, George Street, Phoenix Picture House in Walton Street in Oxford. You've got the View Cinema Oxford and in Bicester, Cineworld in Whitney and Didcot, and the Light in Banbury. So there are no excuses to have a nice cinematic weekend if you fancy it.
Yeah, definitely. If you can see this in IMAX, though, hands down, see it in IMAX every time. And if you can get a double bill, if anywhere's doing a double bill of this and Fury Road, I hope they're doing Fury Road as the second pick on that double bill. But if you can see a double bill, it might be worth seriously going in on that.
Sounds absolutely brilliant. A great bank holiday weekend tip there. Thank you very much, Van Connor. We will chat to you next week with some more movies on Friday. So have a lovely rest of the Friday and a good bank holiday weekend. All right, catch you later.
Happy bank holiday to you, sir. Till next time.
Thank you, Van. Right, it's BBC Radio Oxford, 11:27.
You and me.